Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. I had planned today to talk about gambling, to explain based on the sources in the Talmud, in the Shulchan Aruch Code of Jewish Law, in the more contemporary works of Jewish law, what exactly is the prohibition? Are there any exceptions? But there is a destructive fire harming our community. And now is not the time for sources. Now is the time for yelling emergency. We, and especially our children or grandchildren, are in danger now. A few times in my career, I have tried to help someone with a gambling addiction. And part of the problem is the ease and quickness to go from casual gambling for recreation, which is still wrong, to losing your job, losing your house, losing your family, losing your reputation, and losing any self-esteem you still had. Baruch Hashem, thank God, I do not have this problem. I have other problems, but not this one. I do want to confess something. One time, many years ago, I went to a casino. And I played blackjack. I played a few hands. I won $300. And I left. But with what I have seen with my own eyes, I would never do that again. I would not gamble in any way, even if Jewish law and values did permit it. But they do not. There's a newspaper, a Jewish newspaper in the New York, New Jersey area called the Jewish Link. Many Jewish people read it in that region and others. And during November, there was a series of 3 articles, parts of which I want to share with you this morning. The first article was written by Rabbi Larry Rothwax, who is a rabbi of a shul in Teaneck, New Jersey. We have a serious problem, and as far as I can tell, nobody is talking about it. So, Rabbi Rothwax, I am talking about it. Gambling and sports betting, most often through phone apps, have become among the fastest spreading addictions in our community. I just want to underline that. In our community, in the orthodox world. What may seem like harmless sports talk is in fact, in many cases, something much more serious. In 2018, the United States Supreme Court lifted federal restrictions on sports betting. And since that time in the United States and in Canada, gambling has exploded in popularity. Gambling no longer takes place mainly in casinos. It happens anywhere your phone can locate a signal. There was a study done of 19 yeshiva high schools in the New York area that studied thousands of students, modern Orthodox students, and found that Orthodox teens gambler at higher rates than their peers in the general population, and most of that is with sports betting. Now, some people might say that, well, casual betting is harmless. You put a few dollars on the Super Bowl. You have a fantasy league among friends. But the line between playful and destructive is thinner than most realize. Because the same mechanisms that make these games exciting, why are people attracted to it? Well, because there's risk, there's suspense, there's reward. Those are the same things that drive addictive behavior. And for an increasing number of people, what starts as entertainment becomes a dependency, with all of the tragedy that entails, as I discussed. And technology has accelerated this, because there are gambling apps, many of which are free, and they're built for speed, for privacy, and constant engagement. I learned about something recently. I learned about a very popular gambling app that many people have on their phones. And the feature of this app is that you can watch the game and put a bet down at the same time without having to move from one screen to another. As before, you could watch the game, let's say a football game, you could watch the game on your phone, and then you could switch to an app to put down a bet. Now you don't have to do that anymore. It's in the same screen. A generation ago, a teenager might have asked for $20 in cash, and by the third time that week, a parent would start asking questions. What do you need so much money for? That safeguard is gone. Teens can fake birth dates, use prepaid cards, tap into shared family accounts. The transactions are quiet, seamless, and easy to miss until the losses start adding up. In Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States, there is a burgeoning Orthodox Jewish community, thank God. And there is, of course, a Chabad house. There could be more than one. But I heard this story from a Chabad rabbi in Las Vegas. He received a call from a man, said, I need to speak to you, it's urgent. Came over. He's a religious man from the New York area. Clearly from a religious community, religious man. And he said to this Chabad rabbi, can you help me? How am I going to tell my family that I gambled away the ownership of our home? We don't own it anymore. It sounds almost like it would be humorous, except for the tragedy and for the fact that this rabbi said that's not the only such call he's gotten. Before we begin to address it, we need to say it plainly. Gambling has entered our homes, our schools, and our culture. And I am saying that here. It's not in my home because it's only Marcy and me, and I know that neither of us do it. Okay. But it's in our schools, and wherever there are teenagers, and many, many adults. It is here, with us, with you. The first step is to stop pretending that we do not have this problem. And the next point is that awareness alone will not solve this. However, silence guarantees that it will grow. The question isn't whether gambling has reached us. It has. And I can tell you here in Montreal, in Jewish schools, in some synagogues, many of the synagogues, not ADATH. The question isn't whether gambling has reached us. It has. The only question is how long we'll keep pretending it hasn't. Now that article was followed the next week by an article by Rabbi Yehuda Avner. Rabbi Avner is a high school Rebbe in New Jersey, teaches high school, and he is also a licensed therapist specializing in addiction. And among the points that he made in his article is that studies indicate that about 20% of the viewing time for fans consists of gambling site promotions. Let me just explain that. If I sit down to watch a football game, okay, there's nothing wrong with watching football. There's nothing wrong with playing football as long as you don't overdo it. But if I sit down to watch a football game, between the broadcasters and the commercials and the on-field ads, 20% of everything I will see from the beginning of the game to the end consists of ads for gambling. The constant barrage of ads and our community's passion for sports, combined with boredom and access to money, means the issue is rapidly growing. Many students say, well, at least it's not drinking or drugs. Yet gambling can be even more harmful, because while our community has taken significant steps to confront and address substance abuse, and we're not finished with that, by the way. We have a long way to go to get those problems under control. But at least it's something that we talk about. The dangers of gambling often are overlooked and underacknowledged. It has become normalized, so normalized that many people rarely watch sports anymore without placing a small bet just to make the game more exciting. This normalization is exactly what makes gambling even more dangerous than drinking or drugs. In both our community and the society at large, gambling is widely accepted. And that acceptance allows the problem to grow quietly and unchecked. Then Rabbi Avner writes, some parents are placing innocent $10 bets with their teens or even opening betting accounts for them. They rationalize that it's harmless, or they'll monitor the amount. Let me say this very, very clearly. Gambling, betting, even in small amounts, is not a Jewish value and should not have any place in any Jewish family or home. The third article was written by Rabbi Chaim Jachter. Rabbi Jachter is someone I have the privilege to know and consult often. He's a widely recognized expert on many, many areas of Jewish law. He lives in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Excuse me. I take that back. I'm not positive which town Rabbi Jachter lives in, but he is associated with the Bet Din in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Just wouldn't try to be accurate. Rabbi Jachter adds the following. You know, at a Jewish wedding, an Orthodox Jewish wedding, the marriage is created not by the rabbi. The truth is, you don't need a rabbi for a Jewish marriage. The rabbi is just there to make sure everything is done properly. The most critical people are the two witnesses, the Adam, who witness the groom giving the ring to the bride and the bride accepting that ring. That's what makes the couple married in Jewish law. And there are requirements for those two Adam, for those two witnesses. They have to be Jewish, adult, male, not related to each other, not related to the bride or groom in any way whatsoever. Just like witnesses in a Sanhedrin that would testify in a Jewish court. And they must be people who are observant of Orthodox Jewish laws. That means they keep kosher, they keep Shabbos, they're religious Jews. They are known to be honest people, or at least they're not known to be dishonest people, because how could you possibly trust a dishonest person to be a witness? And excluded from the category of someone who is qualified to be a witness at a Jewish wedding is someone who gambles. Rabbi Jachter writes the following. My modest addition to the public conversation is that rabbis should not, preferably, should not allow anyone who engages in online betting or gambling to serve as an aid, as a witness at a Jewish wedding under the chuppah. I just want to make it clear, I do not mean to suggest that a wedding that took place with such a witness is invalid. That's not true. If the person is otherwise qualified and they only gamble once in a while, that would not invalidate the wedding. But when you are looking for who should be the witnesses, ideally it should be someone who does not engage in this practice at all, because such a person's reliability is put into question. Then he writes, to clarify, he quotes Rabbi Avner. I didn't quote it before, but he says this is the most frightening part of what Rabbi Avner wrote. To clarify, most teens who bet are not addicts, but many are heading down that path. We've all heard horror stories, I'm telling you, horror stories, of those whose casual bets as teens led to massive debts as adults. We convince ourselves this couldn't happen to us. But simply by making bets, we are risking the same trajectory. As such, says Rabbi Jachter, we face a tsunami of a problem. This is not something that will happen, that is coming. This is an emergency now. If you have children or grandchildren who are teenagers, or you know someone who puts small bets on games, this is a terrible problem now. And our only response, says Rabbi Jachter, is to take a very firm stand. I have asked potential witnesses, Adam at a wedding. I'm not asking, have you ever done it in the past? But I'm asking, he says, that you promise that you will never play fantasy football, which means, I don't know exactly what it means, I don't do it, but putting together an ideal team and betting on it, even if no money is involved. That's what Rabbi Jachter says. Even if no money is involved. He says, I base myself on the Talmud's insistence that gamblers are rehabilitated and reinstated as valid witnesses only if they break their gaming pieces and resolve never to gamble, even if no money is involved. Our sages were so opposed to this. They even forbid drawing lots to see who wins a larger portion of food. Rav Herschel Schachter explained that our sages wanted to keep us far away from developing a passion for gambling. Rabbi Schachter says, I asked the Rav Yosef Soloveitchik, in 1984, whether it's permitted to visit a casino for a single time. I confessed, I am guilty of doing that one time. The Rav replied succinctly, it's a bad habit, don't do it. I did not know the Rav's opinion at that time, but I have not done it and plan not to do it again. Rav Ovadia Yosef, who is so widely respected as an authority in Jewish law, especially among Sephardic Jews, rules that a Sephardic Jew may not even buy lottery tickets. I similarly asked Rav Yehuda Amital, I've quoted so many times. He said people are seeking an unhealthy excitement with gambling. So again, I just want to make it clear, Rabbi Schachter is not saying, and I'm not saying, that a person who once in a while puts down a small bet on a game is in fact invalid to serve as a wedding, as an aid, as a witness at a wedding. That's not what I'm saying. And if such a thing has happened, the weddings are kosher, they're fine, you're married, you're Jewish, no problem. However, it is unanimous among Jewish authorities that this is a bad thing, that it leads to bad things. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein writes regarding synagogues who have bingo games to raise funds. He says, even if we could argue that it's not technically prohibited, which it may be, but even if you argue it's not technically prohibited, mechur hadavar, it is disgusting. It's ugly. It's not what Jewish people should be doing. Rabbi Schachter concludes, the Torah refers to us as Am Chacham V'Navon, a smart and wise nation. We read that in the Torah a few weeks ago. Sports and gambling fixations are not a mark of such a nation. It is high time to put an end to this nonsense. We are above such behavior. We must be above such behavior. My friends, I wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.